I got record. It's recording. Hey, Laura, how you doing on this Wednesday hump day in the first Wednesday of September? How's it going?
I am doing so good, Debbie. I mean, it's kind of raining outside, but you know what? I am so excited for September. I hope everybody had an awesome Labor Day. I did. I got to spend time with my granddaughter. It was great. But we are so excited today. We are going to talk to a man. Most of you would know his voice from radio from back in the days. And I'm sure you heard the name Kevin Matthews. He was on the loop for so many years and he worked with a lot of famous people. And he was in entertainment, he's a comedian, he's all kinds of things. But we are excited today to have him on because he's going to talk about something that he's so passionate about, and that is Broken Mary. And I'm not going to go in much detail of it because I want Kevin to talk to you about it. But I just want you to know, God works through all of us, and he's got an amazing story that he has to tell you, and about an event that he's having here on Thursday in the Chicago area in Clarendon Hills, Illinois at Notre Dame Church. So with that, Kevin, there I'm introducing you. Go ahead.
Thank you. How are you? Both of you. Thank you.
Great.
Good. Yeah, I'm really blessed to be back going to Chicago. And I will be talking. It's an all ages show, and I love what I'm talking about because it's about our love for Mary, the mother of Christ, and how this unique story happened to me 10 years ago. And literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people around the world have been affected by it. And it's not about me, it's about us. It's about you two, it's about me, it's everybody watching. God has a plan for us. And there's a tremendous amount of despair right now in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you recite the rosary, and I do every day, in this beautiful prayer given to us by Mary, she says and talks about the valley of tears. And we are in that valley right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not hopeless, but so many people think that it is. And this story started 10 years ago when God led me to a dumpster, a filthy dumpster at a flower shop. I was going to go out and get my wife flowers, and I off the corner of my eyes, I got out of the truck and I saw this statue, and I knew immediately it was the statue of Mary. And I walked to it, and she was broken in half. She's on her back, and her eyes looked at me, and with a voice that was Christ said, "Will you deny me? Will you deny my mother?" And I knew at that moment I wouldn't leave this statue here. And of all the people, God, why me? I have no idea. I could label myself as the worst sinner in the world. Yet God is picking regular people to promote his son, Christ. And the story is, I wrote a book because the story and what happened after I took the statue home and within the next 2 years was really starting to affect the world. People were able to relate to this story and this statue, and I brought her home. I had her blessed. And that's when Mary, it was as though Christ said to me when I had hit rock bottom, and you'll hear about this Thursday. And he basically said to me what he said to John, the disciple at the cross, "I leave you with my mother." And I wouldn't hear that voice again for another 5 years. And it's a beautiful story. Now we call her Our Lady of the Broken. And like I said, besides a book, besides taking her out to where the most broken are, I've also developed 2 rosary apps. And these rosary apps have been downloaded all over the world for years and years and years for free. The other day I was tabulating because I had read that every time we say a Hail Mary, a rose grows in the Garden of Heaven. And just by tabulating the downloads and what we have, literally millions of roses blooming because of people from all over the world, from the Philippines to the Americans. And it's beautiful to watch this woman work. And Mary is, without a doubt, the most loving mother. And she is, I say to people, I'm Mary's roadie. And she said long ago, we're going to go to Clarendon Hills at Notre Dame Parish this Thursday. Or she'll say, let's go to Tucson, Arizona. Let's go to Minneapolis. Let's go to Savannah, Georgia. Literally, people are calling her, and we go, and it's not about me. It's not how special I am. She's the star of the show. Mm-hmm. God is certainly how my life was changed through God, next through Christ, next through Mary. And the parallels of my miracle run so parallel to Fatima. And I'm so close to Fatima to this day. And it's an amazing story to watch this woman work. And she's not slowed down a bit. So I'd love to see everybody there because I'll speak. It's an all ages show. I'll sign the book afterwards, and then people can go up to Our Lady of the Broken and meditate with her. And it's just a beautiful evening. It's a beautiful evening of hope. And there's so much brokenness, so much despair in this world. So many people have abandoned the Catholic Church, for example. And the Catholic Church is Christ. The Catholic Church was built by him on the day of the crucifixion. The Catholic Church is not the Pope or bishops or cardinals or nuns or parishioners. The Catholic Church is Jesus Christ. So when I hear people say, well, I've left the church, well, then don't leave Christ. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I want people to come and witness what I'm going to show them. Mary has brought to me the most broken. I've talked to inmates that are serving life sentences. I have talked to people that are dying and died of cancer. The most broken of broken have come to Mary, but at the same time, so many people have found comfort in Mary's Immaculate Heart. And that's all she wants. She wants us to go to her Son, and you can do so through her Immaculate Heart. The most powerful prayer on the planet, in my opinion, is the Rosary. Mary gave us the Rosary in the 12th century. She gave it to us. A gift from God she gave to us. And I say Mary's Rosary is like her umbilical cord. That's how she feeds us Jesus. It's also Mary's hand, and you can hold Mary's hand. I guarantee you, because of the promises Mary said, the most unbelievable things will happen. And what I have seen happen to people through the Rosary is nothing but a miracle. And what I love about the Rosary, and I love some of the disciples and saints of the past, especially Saint John Paul. John Paul loved Mary. Mm-hmm. Mary saved John Paul's life when he was assassinated or attempted to die at that shooting. So Mary is very special to Pope John, the Saint John. And what I love, he's written so beautifully that when we take our rosaries out, Mary, mystically brings us to her side, and she cuddles with us, and she will form us to be like Christ. And Pope John called that the School of Mary. And I guarantee you, if you have a rosary, then you have Mary, and she will take you to Christ. Mary will never abandon you. God will never abandon you. Christ will never abandon you. I don't care how filthy you are. And when I say filthy, I mean with sin. You're not filthy to Christ. You are a child of God. And for example, your dedication, both of you, to Mary. Do you realize that Mary calls you daughter? How beautiful is that? She calls you daughter. She calls you my daughter, my daughter. And, I can't imagine her calling me her son, but she'll say, Kevin, my son. And I have grown to deeply love Mary, that it would be an honor to die for her. And I'll stand up for Mary. I'll fight for Mary. And when Christ said, I'll leave you with my mother, she'll clean you up, I'm not going to abandon him in his wishes. And Thursday is going to be a beautiful night. And I would love you folks, anybody who's thinking, just come, because this is not about me. You're being called. You're being called, and you're going to be called until you answer. And I have witnessed people come to this statue. There's a woman that's coming that I met speaking. I never knew who she was, but Mary said, go to her, bring her to the statue, say 3 Hail Marys, and tell her that she'll be okay. Well, I later learned that that woman was undergoing breast surgery. She had breast surgery, cancer, and she has a clean bill of health, but she also now promotes Mary's Rosary to other women that have cancer. There's another woman, there's people there that are going to come that have had their lives changed. And I guarantee you, anyone that comes to her, Mary, she will take you to him, and he will take you to God. There's no question either. It's a mystery. It's a mystery, but I don't doubt it. I can't see oxygen, but I need it. Right? There's a lot of things I can't see, but I know he's there. And people can say that they believe, but I heard a beautiful priest say, do you believe, or are you convinced? And I think people, I wish, become convinced. Yeah, I believe I should go to church. Or am I convinced to go to church because when I go to church, there's the tabernacle and the Eucharist. There's confession. How beautiful confession is. Have you been to confession lately?
Oh, not recently.
No.
And the reason is we have this perception of confession, and we're shamed. There's shame and guilt, and the priest is going to hear me. When you go to confession, take Mary to confession, because the first confession, the confessional, was created at the cross as well as the forgiveness of sin. That's why Christ died. And the church, it started at the cross. The confession, the sacraments start at the cross. And I take Mary to confession with me now.
Oh.
She knows what I've done, but I take her to confession now. And to me, confession, Mary has asked us, if you study Fatima, the miracle of Fatima in 1917, it started in 1916. The apparitions began. It starts with God, and the angel of peace appears to the 3 shepherd children. two of the shepherd children would die after the apparitions, and one, the oldest cousin, would become a Carmelite. She died in her 90s not long ago, but Mary and Christ would come to her in her convent. And one of the things that Mary and Christ wanted her to, and we have, is the sacrament of confession, to go to confession, say the rosary, and enjoy and partake in the Eucharist once a month, the first Saturday. Can we do that for Mary?
Oh, definitely.
But you'd be surprised how many people say, oh, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. But then they haven't gone to confession because they're ashamed or they're fearful, or I'll just say it to God, or I don't need to go to and partake in that Eucharist. I mean to be good. I mean to see it again. It goes into that I believe. I believe in the Eucharist, but I'm not convinced of the Eucharist.
Mhm.
To me, the church is the temple of God, and I'm just amazed. I wish I could give what Mary's given me to everyone, and it's right at your fingertips, everyone. You can change in a breath. You can change in a breath. And I can't wait to speak on Thursday, because it's been, I've been trying to go to this parish for a year because of COVID. It's been postponed, and it's not about me. I'm proud of this book. The book was authored by God, and Mary co-wrote it, and so did Christ. And I want people to just come. You will feel the presence of Mary. You will feel the presence of God. You will feel the presence of Christ. You will. And we need this now. We need this. I say to folks, I've met some amazing priests, and I heard a priest say, God has plans for every one of us. And so does Satan. And we've got to start thinking of the two. And it's an amazing time we live in. It's an amazing time. So my dog's barking.
That's
He
okay.
agrees with me. But if any of you folks, all ages are welcome. It's a beautiful night. It goes by quickly. It's one night. Do this for yourself. Do this for yourself. And we have a lot of fun. There are people in the audience that will introduce me that were a big part of my radio days in Chicago, and I'm proud of those days. I'm very proud of those days and what we did. And we all grew up together. We all watched Michael Jordan, and we watched Jim McMahon and Mike Ditka, and we watched a beautiful city just explode with beauty and creativity. And look at how this city is suffering now.
Yeah.
One of the last beautiful events in Chicago is at St. John Cantius, is my adopted church in Chicago. And Father Josh and myself and others, we took Mary, Broken Mary, and we put her on a bed of roses, and we walked from St. John Cantius down to the water tower. And we had over 6,000 people walk in peace.
It's so
6,000. And after that is when so much happened to the world. COVID, the rioting took place, the divide that we have. And, no matter what color you are, red, yellow, white, black, we're children of God. And the darkness wants us separated. The darkness wants us fighting. The darkness wants you to walk away from the church, walk away from Christ. And I'm here to tell you, don't. And I really appreciate you promoting this. So I'm going to be in Clarendon Hills on Thursday, and the doors open at 6:30. I speak at 7. You'll be able to spend time with Our Lady of the Broken and see her and watch what was, she was in trash. She was in garbage and trash. And now she sits on a bed of roses. And that's Mary. You know, Mary does live on a bed of roses. And how many people do treat Mary as trash or do treat her son and herself as garbage? And she's not. She's anything but that. So, you know, go to your mother. You know, your mother, call your mother, folks. Call your mother. She wants to hear from you and she can change your life. And I'm very lucky that 10 years ago I was led to a dumpster.
I have to say that I watched your video and it gave me chills because the correlation between Lori and you, and people will hear the story when you do tell it, just amazed me. But I want to say for people who are listening that can't attend because they don't live near here, I really would love, you know, for if you can, as we release this, if you could, you know, put a website and put some information because maybe they can get a hold of your book.
What you can do is people can go and download the rosary. If you go to if you've got an iPhone, you can go to the App Store and get Broken Mary.
Okay.
Download that for free, or just go to brokenmary.com if you've got, and you can download that. I recite the rosary. It's free. You can recite it in your car while you jog, whatever you want to do. It's beautiful. I do know that if you go to Our Lady of the Broken.org, you can see the video you're talking about.
Yes.
That's Our Lady of the Broken.org. And it shows you a lot of that beautiful walk we had at St. John Cantius. And I'm at St. John Cantius as often as I can be. That is a 130-year-old church that absolutely adores Mary. And you can tell. And if you've never been there, go there. And Father Josh and those brothers, Father Nathan, and all those beautiful men and women that work at St. John Cantius are really beautiful. They offer the Latin Mass as well as the traditional English Mass. And it is a beautiful place. So, and you can get Broken Mary, Journey of Hope. My partner is Matthew Kelly, and you can get it at Dynamic Catholic, and it's such a reduced, you know, I've not made, the only money I've made off the book is I took a priest and a nun to Fatima for the 100th anniversary. And we do a lot with, there's a nun that's worked on the sainthood of Jacinta and Francisco, Sister Angela, and I'm trying to get her back in October to Chicago to be at St. John Cantius. But because of COVID and whatnot, it's going to be a miracle. And literally, and she's the vice postulator right now working with Sister Lucia to be a saint. So she's a wonderful woman that I met through Mary, and it's beautiful to watch her work. And like I said, I'm just trying so hard to. It's going to be a miracle if she gets into Chicago on October 2nd to speak, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying no.
Well, I do know we're all on a time constraint. I know John's got something with his son with leaving out of town. Lori and we want to just say that thank you, Matthew, so much for being with us. Lori and I are so excited that we were able to share and for us to be in Chicago and to be able to promote this. And we will be promoting this as soon as I get off this call. I am definitely going to be sharing it with all my friends because we do have a flyer, and you know, we're excited about it. And you know, I'm very excited to meet you. And you know, I'm planning to bring my 7-year-old grandson with as well.
Good.
And and Lori, with that, if Lori, if you can close us out, and then.
No, but I have one quick question. Kevin, is are you going to have the books there tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to check.
Yes, I will. I'll be able to sell the book.
And how much is it going to be? So
they're $10.
Okay.
Cash. I can't take credit cards because I don't have
Mhm.
But, and again, you can order a book through Dynamic Catholic.
Right.
And every church in the country has a book, and the book is a really beautiful book because, like I said, it all started. It ignited everything through that book, and
Right.
that book was meant to be written. It's a big read among lifers and that are serving life. It's relatable. We're all broken, but we're loved by God.
Right.
So
All right. Well,
thank
Kevin,
you.
thank you so much. We could be talking all night. Try to come on Thursday. We
Yep.
have all kinds of information. Trust me. The first time I heard Kevin, I did get to go see him at St. John K Show in Chicago. It was awesome. But this is going to be in Notre Dame Church in Clarendon Hills. We'll have all that information. Kevin,
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Everyone. And hopefully, if you see us on Thursday, say hello to all of
Oh, I
us.
will. Yeah, we'll make sure
Absolutely.
we connect. And,
Thanks.
and for those that are really in dire need of prayer, come.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, both of you.
Definitely.
Thank you.